Welcome, everybody, to another edition of the GioMoShow, right here on WXOU Sports. I'm your host, Giovanni Mosheri, Sports Media Director here at WXOU, and here at the GioMoShow is your home for all Oakland sports and beyond on 88.3 FM. And we got a whole lot of Oakland sports, and we got a whole lot of beyond as well for this show. But before we get started, I'd like to remind everybody, give the GioMoShow a subscription over on YouTube, as well as a 5-star review on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, as the GioMoShow can be found anywhere you get your podcasts as well. Don't forget to follow me on social media, which you can see right here on YouTube. It'll be in the description of the podcast as well. And go and follow WXOU on social media as well, also linked in the description of wherever you're getting the GioMoShow. And finally, give us quick subscribe, quick click, and a like over to WXOU Sports, our YouTube channel where we have all of our full broadcasts, all of our interviews, our highlights, our shows, and whatever you need from your favorite college radio station from the sports side of things. And we got a big show for you guys. We got baseball and softball. Unfortunately, this one had to come a little bit late due to the madness of graduation and commencement ceremonies that were going on this weekend. Took a little bit of my time away, unfortunately, from the GioMoShow, but luckily we did not miss any of the baseball stuff or the softball stuff, as their game's going to be continuing tomorrow on Wednesday, whenever this recording is for you. But luckily we're not missing anything, so we're still up to date here with the baseball and softball stuff here for Oakland University. And speaking of which, I like to remind you guys of what we got coming up on WXOU Sports as far as our live broadcasts go, because the baseball season is still continuing, at least the home part of it is, as Friday, Saturday, and Sunday will be the coveted series, will be the big one against Wright State University. And we'll also have a game on Tuesday that will be against Toledo. Friday is 3:30, Saturday is 2 o'clock, Sunday is 1 o'clock, Tuesday is 3:30 for your baseball, all right here on WXOU Sports, and as well as on air on tunein.com. And one last reminder for you guys is if you're looking for something fun to do this summer, if you just got back home and you're in the Mt Clemens area, then I got something fun for you guys to do and to try out. Escape rooms are an incredible way to spend time with friends, family, and loved ones, and Escapology is the largest and best escape room franchise in the world. They have escape room themes such as Scooby-Doo, such as Murder on the Orient Express, The Code, Under Pressure. They got fantastic rooms and a brand new one coming this summer. On Tuesdays through May 31st, at the end of the month here, buy one full price ticket and the second person plays free if you use the code TWOFER. That's TWOFER, TWOFER. Visit www.escapology.com for more information. Again, that's www.escapology.com. Escapology is located at 82 Macomb Place in Mt. Clemens. At Escapology, where time is of the essence. So, getting into the baseball for Oakland University this past week, and we got some delayed news coming out for the performance against Northern Kentucky last week. That's what's so frustrating about sometimes having the show on Mondays is that the pitchers and the batter of the week awards from the Horizon League are announced on Tuesday, so I'm always a week late on it. But regardless, against Northern Kentucky, Shane McClendon was able to capture the Horizon League Pitcher of the Week after pitching 6 innings in their key win over Northern Kentucky, allowed just 2 earned runs, and surrendered no walks. Tallied a career high of 9 strikeouts as well to earn Shane McClendon as the Horizon League Pitcher of the Week. And then in addition to that, for this week of work, Brandon Heidel was awarded Oakland's Male Athlete of the Week, the Prairie Farms Athlete of the Week, for that award. And as quoted on GoldenGrizzlies.com, Heidel extended his hit streak to 11 games as he totaled 8 hits on the week, including a 3-hit game in the win over Eastern Michigan. The senior hit a .615 clip on the week and tallied 4 RBIs with a pair of doubles along with 2 home runs. The catcher sits third on the team with a .331 batting average and ranks second on the team with 50 hits, and third on the team with 7 home runs. That is quoted on GoldenGrizzlies.com in their article announcing the Athletes of the Week for Oakland University. So it's been a fun week of baseball, but unfortunately it hasn't been, the same as it has been the previous weeks. Oakland fell to Youngstown State in their away series this past weekend. But let's talk about the Eastern Michigan game that was at home before that series took place. This was Tuesday, April 23rd, when Oakland took on the Eastern Michigan Eagles for their second game of the season series, this time hosting at the Oakland baseball field. This one finished with an Oakland win, another high-scoring event, 14-11 was the final score against the Eagles. We were on the broadcast, and we, as WXOU, sadly I myself was not on the broadcast, but we were able to broadcast that game. We got it up on WXOU Sports on YouTube. Along with the full broadcast, we have a broadcaster review hosted by Harsh Buttar, who was on the call. And we got an interview with Brandon Nye with Hannah Fisher, who was on the call for the game as well. So be sure to go over to WXOU Sports, check that out. Check out the conversation between Hannah and the 2-home run hitter, Brandon Nye. Spoiler for the game, but we'll get into it. In that game, Oakland hit 5 home runs against the Eagles, and it started off in the first inning with Ben Clark hitting a 2-run shot to give Oakland an early 2-0 lead in the first inning, and the inning would end in a 3-0 lead as Brandon Heidel hit a double to send Brandon Nye back home. And then going on into the fourth inning, Oakland was down 5-3 against the Eagles after they rallied back to gain themselves a 2-run lead after being down 0-3. And then Brandon Nye got it within just 1 run by hitting a solo shot home run over center field to make it 5-4. Oakland down by 1 in the fourth inning. And then when their turn in the fifth inning came along, first home run was in the fourth inning. In the fifth inning, Brandon Heidel hit a homer over to left field to get the game still within 1. It was 6-5 at this point. So Oakland was able to keep up with Eagles offense at this point. And then the 6th inning, when Oakland turned the tides of the game, gaining the lead back for the first time since the first inning with another second solo shot home run by Brandon Nye over center field to give them a 7-6 lead, and a lead that they would not let go of for the rest of the game after that 6th inning. Oakland would come out of that 6th inning 12-6 up over the Eagles as they had a 6-run 6th inning. And then it continued from there. John Lowinger got into on the home run action as well, hitting a 2-shot himself to add to Oakland's final score, 14 runs against Eagles 11 to get them the win this past Tuesday. And that set things up for Oakland to go to Youngstown, Ohio to face the Penguins in an Horizon League series. This one was originally supposed to be played at home at Oakland. However, weather issues caused the home and away games to be swapped. So Oakland got to play them at home earlier this season, and now they get to make up for it on the road against Youngstown. Unfortunately, this series was one that was lost to Oakland, although it was not a sweep, as Oakland was unfortunately dropping the first 2 games of the series before laying the smackdown in the third one. We'll get into the details of that right now. But in the first game, Oakland was down 3-0 quickly after the first inning. They were able to get it close, 3-4. They were able to tie the game in the third inning with a Brandon Nye home run, a 2-shot home run that got them at 3-3 over in the third inning. That was also helped out by a Brandon Heidel home run in the second inning to get them up and closer to start the scoring off for Oakland. That was in the second inning for Heidel. Brandon Nye hit a home run in the third to make it 3-3. However, from there, Oakland was unable to continue that offensive production, only scoring 1 more run in the 7th inning to where the game ended 10-4. Penguins win. So they started off strong, but weren't able to keep it up as Youngstown State was able to continue their runs going on after the game was tied in the third inning. And sort of a similar story when it came into the second game of the series. This one was a lot tighter, as Oakland was down 2-0 after the first inning, but ended up getting the lead themselves 3-2 after they hit 3 runs in the second inning. They were able to keep stacking onto it up until the fourth inning, where they were then up 6-2. But then that's where the scoring froze. Oakland, again, they were able to get their runs in early, but unable to continue it through. As for Youngstown, though, they were shut out from the second inning all the way until the 8th inning. However, when the 8th and 9th inning came around, that's when 5 runs came over for the Penguins. That was able to get them the 1-run lead for the win ending that game 7-6. Penguins win. So Oakland able to get their 6 runs between the second and the fourth inning to get their total of 6. But at the ends of the box score, Youngstown with 2 in the first inning and then 5 in the last 2 innings were enough to get over the Golden Grizzlies to take the series at least and knock Oakland down 2-0 going into Game 3. But in Game 3, that's where Oakland said that's enough. That is enough starting early and finishing, and not finishing the game there. This one started on with Oakland leading this one. At the third inning, they got the first 2 runs going up 2-0 in the third, and they shut out Youngstown State all the way until the 8th inning where Youngstown State got their only 2 runs. Meanwhile, Oakland, 3rd inning, 2 runs, 6th inning, 2 runs, 7th inning, a single run, and then 6 over in the 8th inning to get them an 11-2 win over the Penguins, just to make sure that they know that the Golden Grizzlies were visiting. The 6th inning did include a grand slam from Ian Cleary, and at the time Oakland was already up 5-0, and then Ian Cleary was able to add on to that in that big 8th inning for those runs coming off of that grand slam. So as it stands right now for the Golden Grizzlies, after going 2-2 on the week, a win against Eastern, and going down 2-1 against the Penguins in their Horizon League series, that sets them now at 3rd place in the league, previously where they were 2nd. 12-9 conference record, with Northern Kentucky above them at 2nd, 13-8, and then Wright State able to return to the top of the spot in the Horizon League, 14-7 conference record. Coming off of a 4-game win streak are the Raiders. So Oakland's got some work to do, but it's definitely still within reach to get that first place, to get that regular season championship for the Horizon League. It's going to take some work now, as they got some busy work ahead of them, including a Wednesday sort of doubleheader against Bowling Green. That would be tomorrow as of this recording, and then their weekend series against Wright State, and then a Tuesday game against Toledo. Remember, we're broadcasting all the home games on WXOU, but it's going to take some work now. But Oakland with an opportunity to take and bring Wright State down more to their level and potentially jump over them to get to first place in the league. So it's been a lot of fun baseball this week. We do have softball to cover as well. It's been a bit of a similar week for them, as well as they were hosting Robert Morris as well as Michigan this week. So we'll talk all about that after this break here on the GioMoShow, but not before I tell you about Jake's Takes. Jake's Takes is a podcast hosted by Oakland student manager Jake Masucci of the men's basketball team, where he talks all about the NFL, about the NBA, we just talked about the draft just yesterday, recording on that couch over there. So Jake's Takes is the place to be for all your professional sports coverage from Mr. Jake Masucci himself. So be sure to subscribe and follow him on Instagram, Jake Masucci, as well as Jake's Takes. It's got its own social media as well. And keep up to date. Subscribe on YouTube and wherever you get your podcasts for Jake's Takes. And now we'll be right back here on the GioMoShow with softball. Welcome back here to the GioMoShow on WXOU Sports. Giovanni Mosheri, still your host. Let's now get into softball. And for last week's work, kind of similar to what we were talking about with Shane McClendon in baseball, but Oakland softball also awarded with the Horizon League Pitcher of the Week award. And who else for the Golden Grizzlies but Sydney Campbell for her work against IUPUI in the middle of last week, going 2-0 on the week by tossing 2 wins herself in one day. That was a doubleheader against IUPUI. She allowed 2 earned runs in 14 innings of work against the Jaguars, totaling 6 strikeouts and only 1 walk surrendered for Sydney Campbell, as she took home the Horizon League Pitcher of the Week award. I think this is her third of the season, as she's just been racking these things up as one of the best in the Horizon League. So, cool notes, both baseball and softball getting Pitcher of the Week nods. And I don't think this is the only time it's happened either. Earlier in the season, I believe that this was a similar case, but baseball had a different pitcher at the time here. But in addition to that, for Athletes of the Week, Reese Ruhlman was the Oakland University Female Athlete of the Week. As on the softball diamond, and this is quoted here from GoldenGrizzlies.com, on the softball diamond, Ruhlman went a combined 6 of 13 in 4 games during the week, as she tallied 5 RBIs along with 2 home runs. The graduate student homered in back-to-back league games against Robert Morris and nearly hit for a cycle in the series finale, with just 1 triple short of the cycle. Ruhlman is tied for team lead in home runs with 3 of them, and is the only player on any team to hit a home run at the Oakland softball field this season. That's from GoldenGrizzlies.com. Incredible work from Sidney Campbell and Reese Ruhlman, so congratulations to both of you. So now let's get into the past week of games here, 4 of which were played. Oakland hosting the University of Michigan this past Tuesday in an unfortunate 4-9 loss. And we'll get into that game in detail here. I was on the PA for that game, and it was a lot of fun to do. I just got out of an exam, and I was like running right over to the softball field because I love doing PA. I don't know if anyone has ever gotten the opportunity to do that, but it's a lot of fun to kind of be the hype man as opposed to being like the more like professional or sometimes even critical broadcaster. Just to be a hype man and to like talk behind the music, and it's a lot more of a relaxed position to do. So I always love doing PA, and luckily I got the chance to do it for this game as well in front of a packed crowd of Wolverine fans, but a packed crowd nonetheless. So in that game, it was a close one all the way up until the 5th inning. Oakland was able to keep up defensively with the Wolverines, holding them to just a single run. Oakland able to match that run as well, so it was tied after the 4th inning. However, in the 5th inning, that's where University of Michigan, after knocking on the door so many times, were able to break through with 5 runs in the 5th inning to get them a 6-1 lead. Oakland was only able to match that with 3 more runs, with the game ending 9-4. So after Michigan's 5-run 5th inning, they also added on 3 runs in the 7th inning to get them all the way to their 9. Oakland unable to keep up with it after the second half of the game. Unfortunate, but it was still a great defensive effort to hold out for in the first part of the game. And that set things up for Oakland to be hosting Robert Morris in their final home series for the season, or, give or take where the Horizon League tournament is hosted. I don't know if Oakland ever is or even is allowed to host it, but either way, this was the regular season home finale for the Golden Grizzlies that they faced Robert Morris. Unfortunately, did not go the way that you would want to for your senior day and fan appreciation day. In Game 1, Oakland went up early in the 3rd inning by getting the single run to start the scoring. Robert Morris would eventually tie that going into the 5th inning. Oakland, 2 runs in that 5th inning as well, held on with a 3-1 lead. And then going into the 7th inning, it was scoreless going into it, but Robert Morris, 8 runs in the final inning. Oakland unable to match any of that in their following section of the 7th inning, ending the game 9-3. Oakland giving up 11 hits in that game as well. 5 errors on the Golden Grizzlies side as well. An unfortunate way to start off the series. Also in that, going into Game 2, Oakland, another early lead. This time 2 runs in the 1st inning, where the score was then frozen all the way until the 6th. No runs scored from the 1st inning and only into the 6th inning where the scoring resumed. Robert Morris was able to tie the game with 2 runs of their own in the 6th inning. But Oakland unable to match that themselves, leaving Robert Morris with an opportunity to gain the lead in the top of the 7th, of which they did. Another 2 runs in the 7th inning was enough to get Robert Morris a 4-2 win over the Golden Grizzlies, where 10 hits were also administered in that game as well. So now Oakland's down 0-2 in the series, and we're sure to not make it a sweep, same as the baseball team this weekend at Youngstown State. In Game 3, a lot more fireworks going on in this one. Robert Morris coming out to an early 3-0 lead in their top of the 1st. Oakland matched it almost with 2 runs themselves. Another run individually in the 2nd inning, 1 run for each team. Going into the 3rd, Oakland would gain the lead themselves with 2 runs in the bottom of the 3rd. So now Oakland is up 5-4 in the 3rd inning. And Oakland was the only one left scoring by the end of the game, as Robert Morris was shut out after that 2nd inning, as Oakland was able to reach victory with a 7-4 victory over the Robert Morris Colonials. So avoiding the sweep there will still hold Oakland in 2nd place in the Horizon League with a 14-6 conference record. Youngstown State stands above them, 17-4, which is crazy. Youngstown State been doing really good this season. Oakland is still within reach of getting 1st place. It's going to have to take a little bit of Youngstown State misfortune to help in that. and they got only a few more games to be able to do it. Tomorrow, they'll be playing at Michigan State against the Spartans before their final Horizon League regular season series against Purdue Fort Wayne on the road this Friday and Saturday as well. That will lead into the Horizon League tournament on May 8th through the 12th as we see if the Golden Grizzlies can make it back and to bring back the Horizon League trophy, or at least get that regular season championship for the third time in a row. 2022 and 2023, Oakland was the Horizon League regular season champs. They're looking to repeat that as well. Like I mentioned, it's going to have to take a little bit of Youngstown State misfortune to help in that happening. So that will wrap it up for the softball segment, going 1-3 on the week. With one more weekend left in play before the tournament here. Oakland in second place for softball, third place for baseball. So there's still time to make up for it. There's still time to reach that top spot in the regular season standings, and we'll be cheering on our Golden Grizzlies on their way to do so. So we'll take a break here before we talk about the NFL Draft. The big event going on this weekend. It was the NFL Draft. 775,000 people in the city of Detroit to witness it. I don't know how many of it got to actually witness it, but we'll talk more about that after the break here on the GioMoShow. And with the GioMoShow, we'd like to remind you again to subscribe to the GioMoShow here on YouTube, as well as the podcast network, wherever you find it. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, Spreaker, wherever you find it, is where you can find the GioMoShow for your Oakland sports and beyond. And we'll be right back here on the GioMoShow with the NFL Draft. Welcome back, everybody, to the GioMoShow. Final segment is the NFL Draft, where 775,000 people over 3 days in Detroit got to witness the NFL's offseason crown jewel for the spectacle that is the NFL Draft. I was one of them that at least tried to be able to go and see the event. We'll talk all about it. I'll talk more about the experience of going to the draft, as if you want my thoughts on the NFL Draft itself as far as the picks go, then you can go and watch Jake's Takes that came out just earlier today as of this recording. We talked about the picks themselves. We talked about Michael Penix, and we talked about the Lions draft and the Chicago Bears, what they did, how the NFC North is looking nowadays. We talk all about that on Jake's Take, so be sure to go and take a look at that after this episode of the GioMoShow. So I'll talk more in detail about like my experience going to the draft. So luckily, the way the schedule worked out was my commencement ceremony wasn't until Friday afternoon, and I was going to be home on Wednesday. So we had that Thursday night available for us to actually go to the draft, and with it being in Detroit, it's like, yeah, we're going to go to the draft, of course. It's not something that's going to be coming along, very often, and maybe not for a while again, but, we're going to go to the draft. We'll see what it's like. And I'll tell you what, and it's not, of course, it was good for the city, and of course, it was, it was good to see with my own eyes. But let me tell you something, overall, I did not enjoy it. I did not enjoy going. I would rather have watched it at home. And I'll headline it with this: the draft is a boring event. The draft is not an event that is meant for entertainment. It's not a game. It's not a competition. I would watch the Pro Bowl for a month straight instead of the NFL Draft if I had to choose, because the thing is, the draft was originally like in some like hotel ballroom or like some hotel conference center where like it's not meant for media. Because here, when I see it, especially from an entertainment perspective, me having a little bit more of an idea of like how to and like what is entertaining for people. Hold off the comments, okay? Don't start being sassy with me. But like from my perspective, from an entertainment perspective, the draft stinks because one, nothing happens other than acquisition of players that you don't know anything about, that you don't know their NFL performance because it hasn't happened yet. The whole draft is just picking names that have no meaning yet. They do a little bit, yes, but like after like the first 15 picks, dude, like it's all made up. The draft is something that the NFL just tries to push in order to keep them in the news cycle. And that's fine. That's their, like, they should do that to be able to keep them, and with a sport that has such a short season, they should be doing these things. They should, you know, popularize the free agency and the draft, and, like, these things to kind of keep them in the news cycle during the off season, because there is no games. They have to make things up to, pretend that these things are interesting. And that's what the NFL draft is. The timing of the event stinks, because timing in terms of, like, the sequence of events, because you don't know how long a team is going to be waiting to pick. Is it going to be the 5 minutes, or is it going to be the 10 minutes? So you got the hosts up on TV that don't know how long they have to kill time for. And that means that, like, they have to, like, either talk about nothing for a little bit, or they have to play a song, or they have to get the band going, and then in the middle of the song they have the pick ready, but they have to wait till the end of the song. Like, the whole thing is a disorganized mess as an entertainment event. So I found it very boring, especially when I wasn't even able to get into the event and see it myself. I'll get into more of, like, that side of it, but the draft is not an entertaining event. It's not. So we'll get into my time here. So let's zoom out. Here's how I like to spend my time. Here's how I like to go out at night. Here's how I like to do events. How I like to plan events. I don't listen. I don't care as much what we do, as long as the logistics are sound. What do I mean by that? What I mean is that if we're, for example, going down to the draft, then when I mean the logistics have to be sound, as in, like, we got to figure out parking, when to park, how many people are we bringing, who are we going with, are we too far from the event, can we walk it, will the traffic be bad coming out? That's just for the parking's sake. I need those things to either be, simple and easygoing, or at least planned out to make it so. Where are we going to eat? When are we going to leave? Are we going to be traffic? Are we going to be stuck in traffic till 4 a.m.? I need all that stuff to be sound, or else I'm going to be losing my mind thinking about it the entire time. I'm crazy like that. I need the logistics to be sound. And luckily, when we were going to the draft, most of it was sound. Getting down there was easy. Parking was easy. Thank goodness to my brother. He hooked that up for us. So that part of it was fine. Getting somewhere to eat, I knew it was going to be a while, because I knew there was going to be a lot of people there. But for me, we got there at 4 o'clock, and we ended up walking down, waiting in the big line to get in, and, we thought we were going to be fine. We knew there was going to be a lot of people, but we filled out the NFL One Pass app. We got our names in it. We got our QR codes. So we figure, like, this is a ticket. It means that we are allowed to go in, that we are expected to come. Like any other event where you fill out any information to scan a ticket, they expect you to come. There's going to be a space for you. That's my expectation. And maybe it's naive to think of it that way now that we know so many people came to the draft. But my expectation by filling that out was that I was going to be able to see somewhat of the draft. That did not end up being the case, because we were one of like 300,000 people that they just all let in and let through, let into the space, and decided to, like, herd us into, like, basically corners before they closed the gate. There were numerous times, like, this happened to us like 3 times, where we, in a giant crowd, were able to get up to the front of a gate, just about to go in, and they dropped the guillotine on us. And they said, this place is closed. Bye. Go. Leave. They didn't even tell us to leave. They just said the gate is closed and turned around. So you got like 1,000 people behind me that are confused and frustrated and have no physical space to go. We're shoulder to shoulder, and you're just saying the gate's closed. Bye-bye. I was infuriated with that. I understand that it's very hard to herd thousands of people like that. I understand that, but you don't have a place for us to go, and you have this, like, maze tracked out throughout the city that you're expecting all these people to go through and to find their way and to find different gates. Like, the whole thing was just too many people. It was too many people at this draft, and I got really frustrated with it, and I thought that it was just so unorganized from that sense. If you got, I don't know how early I had to go there to be able to get in at 4 o'clock was not early enough. It was infuriating for me. So once we finally accepted our fate, we've luckily found our way out, which was its own confusion. But we found our way out and we got something to eat, and we ended up staying at one of like the nearby like parks or like balcony, or not balcony, but like they had like an area with a projector screen that had the event there, or that had the draft there. And it was starting to get cold at night, and I'm tired and I'm frustrated, and I'm sitting in a lawn chair watching the draft on TV, except it's not even on TV because we don't have Rich Eisen or any of the other like actual broadcasters telling us anything about these draft picks. I'm watching like a live look at the live event. It's not the TV broadcast. So I'm looking at this, I'm like, okay, so we just drove all the way downtown to a place that we thought we were going to be allowed in. We didn't even get allowed in, and now we're sitting outside in the cold watching the worst version of TV that we can for this draft. I would rather watch it at home. I'm sorry. It's too many people. I'm not able to experience the in-person draft, so I'd rather go home and watch it. I'd rather listen to Rich Eisen tell me about any of these draft picks, because otherwise I didn't know what was going on. So it was just frying my nerves being, doing that. And I would just rather watch it on TV. Okay, so that's all the negative stuff, and that's all the steam that's blowing off some steam there. Was it a total loss? No. Okay, I actually did enjoy some of my time there. Although my frustrations, I was able to at least like have a decent time, because when we were walking down there, just kind of a quick fun story, we happened to run into Coach Campy walking down the street, and we're like, I couldn't believe my eyes that I was seeing him, and I just said like, "Hey, Coach, what's up?" And he stops, and we talk, shake hands, chit chat a little bit. My brothers and my uncles, like their jaws were like slammed and dragging on the concrete. They couldn't believe that we just ran into Coach Campy, especially after the tournament and that stuff. But for me, I was just trying to play it cool, like, yeah, this is Coach. How you doing, Coach? And I'm trying not to make too much of a deal out of it. But that was fun to see. I saw Jack Golke, and Jake Masucci there, along with one of the managers, Luke. We saw them on the street as well. I saw Jordan Nelson, one of the SIDs for Oakland. I saw former sports director WXOU, Ben Schrader, and Michaela Kirby, our graphic designer. Like, I saw so many people at this draft. I thought like it was so cool to see this many people that I know in Detroit in that way. All of whom were also lost, by the way. Everyone besides Campy were like trying their best to actually get into the event. So we had some shared misery in that. But that part I thought was a lot of fun. Booing other teams is also a lot of fun. It's therapeutic to be able to listen to the Bears around the clock, and everybody just start booing. The pick is not even going to be for another 10 minutes, and we're still booing it because it's the Bears. That stuff is so much fun, because you don't really get... How many opportunities do you really get to boo another team and to boo multiple teams at one event? The draft is a good place to do that. I will give the draft credit for that. That it gives fans that kind of booing therapy, I call it, because it was almost therapeutic for me to be able to do that. So that part was a lot of fun as well, and just being able to say that I was there in the time when it was in Detroit. Yeah, I mean, like, would I have not gone? I probably still would have gone, but I wish I kind of had different expectations going into it. But overall, I didn't quite enjoy my time. I think it could have been better organized. I think the NFL One Pass thing could have had any meaning at all, because it never ended up getting scanned, and it's a fake ticket just to get your information that I thought was frustrating. So I thought the draft could have been better. I could have had a better time watching it at home on TV, but it was still cool. So if you want my thoughts on the actual picks and the football side of things, once again, you could go to Jake's Takes to get me and Jake's opinion on that. And, we talk a whole lot about it. So be sure to go and tune in for that as well. And with that, that's going to close it out here for the GioMoShow. I hate to end it on like such a petty and frustrating note when it came to my experience, but it's the way it was. We covered our Golden Grizzlies, we covered the baseball and the softball, and we covered the NFL draft as well. We'll be continuing to cover our teams here until the season's end here on the GioMoShow, but then we'll also get into, just like we did last year, we'll get into the season reviews of each team throughout the Golden Grizzlies academic year throughout their seasons. We'll dedicate each episode to talking about their season. We'll also be covering the USPBL throughout the summer as my Diamond Hoppers look to make it back to, reach the first seed as they were close to last season. The Hoppers will make it back. The Hoppers will be holding up their first pennant in the USPBL this season. I guarantee it. I'm telling you about it now. And when you look back at it, you're going to say, April 30th, GioMoShow. I heard that the Hoppers are going to win the championship this one. That's my hope, at least, as a Hoppers fan. But we're going to be covering them as well throughout the season. And we'll be talking about the Olympics coming on this year as well. I love the Olympics. So we'll be keeping track of like the gold medal counts and certain swimming events and stuff. And we'll be talking a little bit about it on the GioMoShow as well. So this summer is going to be a lot of fun. GioMoShow is going to keep going, and we're going to keep going here as well. Anyway, that's going to close out here for the GioMoShow. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Be sure to subscribe to the GioMoShow on YouTube right here, as well as wherever you get your podcasts. Follow Jake Masucci and Jake's Takes. Follow WXOU Sports on YouTube and WXOU on the greater social media platforms. And with that being said, we'll see you next week here on the GioMoShow.